Hey folks, let's talk about sampling. In 1.3 they talk about simple random sampling. Simple random sampling is abbreviated as SRS. It's the most powerful type of sampling, but it's usually the most complicated. So here's a great example of a simple random sample. Let's say there's 45 of us in this classroom and I need to choose 3 people. I could put all of your names into a hat and then choose 3 people. That is a simple random sample. So notice how complex that was. Notice, first of all, that I needed a list of everyone. So that would be the frame. So the frame is the list of everyone in the population of interest. So most times in life, that doesn't exist. So most times in life, you can't even do a simple random sample because we don't know everyone in the population. So the list of everyone is called a frame. So the simple random sample, notice that the simple random sample, anyone can be chosen and any group can be chosen. So let's say I was trying to pick a group of 3. So I picked the first winner. I would not put that name back in the hat. I would just toss it off to the side. So that would be sampling without replacement. There are some instances where you would sample with replacement, but usually not. So notice how if I choose you as a winner, then I toss your name out and I do not put it back in the hat. So that way I guarantee I would get 3 different winners. Okay, so that's a simple random sample. Again, difficult because you would need the frame. So let's say we didn't have a frame, so there's other approaches. Here's 4 popular ones. So stratified, you'll notice the word strata. So for stratified, here's the example I like to give. Maybe I should use black ink. So think of strata like in geology, the different layers, the strata. So at a high school, there are freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. So let's say we're interested in how a high school feels about a certain situation. What if I were to look at the different strata? What if I were to sample 10 freshmen, 10 sophomores, 10 juniors, and 10 seniors? So you see how within each of those layers, each of those strata, I sampled a certain number of people. So that would be stratified. Systematic, let's see. Systematic is usually every nth. So let's say I work at a Coca-Cola factory and I want to make sure that the cans are being filled correctly. So as I watch Coke cans go down the assembly line, what if I pick off every 100th can and just weigh it to make sure it's 12 ounces? Or maybe every 20th can or every 1000th can, every nth. So systematic is you're just doing every nth. Cluster sampling. Let's see. Let me draw a hotel. That's not too bad. And there's different floors on the hotel. And I want to see how my hotel is doing. So what if I randomly choose 3 floors? So the 4th floor gets randomly chosen, and the 7th floor, and then the 2nd floor. So not the whole building. I just choose 3 random floors, for example. So now what I do is I make sure to talk to and ask every single person that stayed on the 2nd floor how they feel about my hotel. I ask every single person on the 4th floor and every single person on the 7th floor. So notice this is a cluster, that's a cluster, and that's a cluster. So notice the difference between stratified and systematic. People often confuse the two. I didn't talk to every freshman, every sophomore, every junior, every senior, right? I talked to a few from each of those layers. But once I pick my 3 different groups for my clusters, I talk to every single person within each of those clusters. Okay, ponder that. And then convenience sampling. Convenience sampling is usually what most people do. It's just the laziest, easiest thing to do. So you'll notice sometimes when you step out of a supermarket back in the day, there's someone there at the clipboard. Hi, can I ask you how you feel about Proposition 27? Oh, I'm for it, I'm against it. So you're not really putting much effort into thinking through an unbiased sample. So convenient sampling is usually pretty good. Sometimes you can make a mistake. For example, let's say you're trying to figure out the average height of a college student at your college. Convenient sampling. So if you were to hang out at the library and ask every person that walked by, that's probably a good idea. If you were to hang out in the center of campus, like at the quad, that'd probably work. So a bad idea would be, what if you were asking people as they exited the basketball gym? So you're trying to figure out the average height of a college student at your school, and you're just asking people as they leave the basketball gym. So that would be a bad idea, right? You're probably going to talk to a bunch of tall people. So convenient sampling, it's good. Just be careful and make sure you think it through. And sometimes you might want to do a combination of these. So you might want to do multi-stage. So imagine had you chosen a certain floor and then you talk to every third customer on that floor. That would be sort of a cluster with a systematic. So multi-stage is just these concepts and you're sort of combining them. Okay, we'll pause right there. And I think there might be a couple more terms. No, I think we're good. We're going to move on to the next section.